Hello scrapbookers, this is Megan and I am back today with a fun, new and exciting series. Woohoo! Okay, so this one is called Stash Raiders and I am doing this new series with my good friend Beth, who is also known as Scrapping Wonders. I used to be on her Traveler's Notebook insert design team, and she and I were kind of talking one day trying to figure out how she could get more views on her YouTube channel, and I told her she needed to do more collaborations. So we decided to do this stash rating series and collaboration with the two of us. And also we thought it would be kind of fun each week, because we're going to do this on a weekly basis and we're going to do this every Thursday. So you can look forward to that for the next, oh gosh, I don't even know. We didn't really talk about a time frame, but we're going to be doing this every week on Thursdays. And each week we are going to pick an item from our stash that we want to focus on. So for this week, we wanted to focus on frames. Funny enough, I have frames. I cannot find them. I am wondering if maybe I gave them away when I went through my scrapbook room and did a huge purge. I literally gave away half my scrapbooking stuff. It was kind of ridiculous. And so I think what happened is I probably just decided I haven't used these and I've had them for years and years, so I'm just going to give them away. So I must have done that because I could not find them. So what I'm going to end up doing is making my own frames. Now, I hope that will suffice, because I mean, I can't just make frames appear out of thin air, right? So I told Beth, I was like, I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit, and she just thought that was funny. Here you can see that I have not taken my morning pills yet. I don't know why I haven't taken them, and I just put them on my desk. So yeah, you can see my water bottle to the left there. That was just a very random thing that happened. Anyway, so here you can see I am matting my, I was using a sketch, so I will have included the sketch. I'm kind of playing along with Christy's Beautiful Life and her 30 Days of Sketches for January. And so this was, gosh, I can't even remember. I think this was day one's sketch. And so I wanted a big mat behind the photos, but then also a thinner mat or border around the background. So here you can see I just washi taped some of the background to make sure that it stayed, because it was a little bit smaller. I kind of cut the chunk out of the middle a little bit wonky. It was kind of off kilter. If you didn't notice, it wasn't, then yay. But I have these photos of my son Jonas playing during recess at school, and this is one of the layouts that I have been meaning to create for a while. Back in let's see, March through May of last year, well actually March through June of last year, I was a sub at my son's school. And so it was fun to see him during recess interacting with his friends and playing with them. So you can see here that I am just going through all of my papers that I have. And I am, at this point, trying to find some cute papers that would work in each one of the clusters as kind of like a banner. And I really liked this multicolor stripe. I really thought that that was cool. And I also liked that polka dotted paper that's underneath that, as well as this banner paper. And I thought this banner paper would be super cool to have in the cluster up here at the top. So I'm going to start fussy cutting out these banners. And then I'm kind of like, oh gosh, do I really want to do this? So I cut that bottom part off, and I decide that maybe I don't want to fussy cut out the banners. So I'm just going to kind of cut more evenly across the bottom. And then I really don't like the way that looks. So I am going to end up fussy cutting out this banner. And then as I start going through the collection more, I realized that there was actually a better piece for me, and I wouldn't have had to cut out this banner because I had an ephemera pack. And I had totally forgot that I had the ephemera pack for this collection. So this collection is called Hall Pass, and it is an old collection. And I'm trying to remember who it was by. I think it's We Are Memory Keepers. So for this series, we are going to be jumping into our stash. And this collection is probably from 2013 or 14, I want to say. Let me see if I can grab it. Let's see. So this collection, oh, it's actually 2012. So it's We Are Memory Keepers from 2012. So it's quite a bit old. And I just thought that this paper collection would work perfect for these photos of my son at school outside at recess. So here you can see I decided I don't want to use this circle paper. I decide to cut out all of these circles though, because the sketch does use circles, and so I'm just going to translate that into circles. I don't always go that route and really use the sketch that what's the word? I can't think of the word. Straightforward, I guess. But I really do like the look of these circle elements on this layout. So now I'm going to ink the edges of all my papers and circles with this Close to My Heart Outdoor Denim ink. Okay, now I'm back, and I think it's later in the day, and I have cut apart a couple more pattern papers and kind of moved things around a little bit and fussy cut out other things, and I am really liking how this is turning out. So like I said, I'm inking all of my papers with that Close to My Heart Outdoor Denim ink, and I really like how that looks and how it makes the papers pop off the page. So now you can see that I am placing all of these circles in different clusters around the layout. And you can also see to the left there, I have pulled out the ephemera pack and the chipboard pieces and everything from this collection. I kind of wish that I had put a note to myself in the package that I had the collection stored in that there was an ephemera pack, because I just totally spaced it. Okay, so now I'm going to start going through the ephemera and the chipboard pieces and pulling out what I think will work. There were some extra little circles, and there's that banner that I was telling you about that I didn't even need to bother with fussy cutting one, but oh well. It works out in the end. I end up putting a banner in each one of the clusters. So now I'm remembering, I need a frame, and this one would work, except it won't because the photos weren't small enough to fit inside the frame. I was kind of bummed, but oh well. I'm going to decide just to make my own frames, and it's going to work out and look pretty good. In my opinion, I really like how it turns out. So here you can see I'm just kind of playing around, moving the ephemera pieces and the chipboard pieces and trying to find out what works. So I did go into my stash a little bit more, and I was looking for some frames, and I found these two chipboard ones. This one is kind of like an off-whitish, kind of grayish, maybe it's beige, and then there was a pink one. And I was thinking maybe they would work, but no, when I put them up on the layout, the colors were just totally off. So I'm gonna decide to just throw out the idea of using an actual frame that I bought for the purpose of being a frame, and I'm just gonna make my own. So now I'm going to start gluing down all of the papers and the photos and the circles and embellishments and everything. And then I'm going to come back and make some frames. And of course, my ATG gun goes out, so I'm going to have to change that. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so now I have the bottom cluster all glued down, and I am going to start creating my frames. Before I can glue down my photo, I wanted to add the frames behind the photos. And I did take this idea right from the sketch. The sketch actually did call for a frame behind the photo on the right hand side. So I'm going to add 2 frames, one in this green color and then another one in, I think it was more of a darker yellowish kind of beige. And I am going to decide to move the photos and this cluster over to the left a little bit more, just to kind of make the frames more visible on the right hand side. So here you can see I'm doing that. I did rip the red paper just a little bit, so I am going to have to glue down part of that, but it actually works out great and you can't even tell. And I think I even cover it up further by the end. So here I'm going to pull out this dark yellow paper and make another frame. Now this one was a little bit trickier. I was trying to make it kind of like a Polaroid frame, but it didn't end up like that. But it doesn't matter anyway, because most of it's going to be covered up by the photos. So it's all good. It worked out in the end. And I really like how these 2 frames look together on the background, against the background. So I'm going to glue those down and then glue the photos down and then start gluing down the top cluster. And I actually do, you can see that there is a piece of vellum in the top left-hand corner underneath my circular punch. And I do actually end up making a frame out of that vellum. And I'm going to put that in the top cluster. So here you can see this is where I'm going to cut up this vellum to make a frame. And really I should have just cut out the top part of the frame and not worried about making it an actual frame, but you know, you want to be thorough and make it look genuine, right? So I did cut out the whole thing, and then like I said, I'm just going to cover up the bottom, and then I'm going to start gluing all of this stuff down. I am going to end up making my 3rd cluster, because you always want to do clusters of 3s, right? Mine isn't really going to be in a triangle though. It's just going to be kind of in a funky diagonal line, I guess. So I'm going to have that top cluster, then there's going to be a cluster right around where the frames are, where I'm putting that banner, and then that 3rd cluster is going to be that bottom left one next to the left-hand photo. So here now I'm going to start gluing that top cluster down, and I think that is going to be it. Yes? So now here I am going to start gluing down everything in this cluster, and then that is pretty much going to be the end of my layout. I am going to pull out a wood grain alpha, and I am going to do the very generic title of Recess. And then I just thought I would do a little bit of journaling probably up on those top 2 little pattern paper pieces, just about how I really loved watching Jonas interact with his friends and the other kids in his grade and playing at recess. And sometimes he wouldn't even play ball, they would just hang out. Like in one of those pictures, he's hanging out with one of his friends that's swinging on the swing and just talking. So I really had a lot of fun using this old collection and getting it a little bit more used up. I hope that you enjoyed this layout. I will be back again next week with a new Stash Raiders layout. Make sure that you head on over to Beth's channel. I will leave a link below to her video so that you can go see what she created using her stash and frames. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Bye!